Joe Parker, Dean Whyte, Fight Buzz on Into Boxing. Boys, how are we doing?
Doing good. Doing great. How are you, Dean?
No, this is
he's frozen. There we are.
There we are.
For a moment. You good, Dino?
All right, let's shoot. Let's get on before this thing does some crazy shit.
How are we, Dino? We okay?
I'm all good, you know. I'm all good. I'm here, man. I'm just chilling.
I want to jump straight into things because there is a big fight in the not too distant future featuring this young man here, Joe Parker, up against Dereck Chisora. A lot to get over. I want to speak about the new coach going into the fight. I want to speak about what this fight does for the division. But first of all, Joe, I saw a few comments on social saying, oh, Dereck's getting under Joe's skin here. Joe's normally a nice guy, but he's starting to get a bit rattled by him. Do you want to just address those?
Rattled. I mean, what am I saying something different? I don't know. I mean, Chisora, listen, we all know what he brings, right? And he's got different personalities for different occasions. And it's just one of those things where it's we're locked in the fight. He's been calling me chicken and saying all these other, I'm not sure what he's been saying, but I'm just excited to get fighting again. As a fighter, you want to keep busy, keep the momentum going. I had a fight not long ago, went 12 rounds. It wasn't the best performance and it wasn't the best sort of way to win, but got a fight under my belt, and it's good to be backing it up with another fight again with Dereck Chisora. He's going to come forward, throw punches, and I want to try and catch him. That's what I want to do.
You've got a new man in your corner. I want to talk to you about Andy in a moment, but just tell us what brought that about, because obviously you and Kevin had this great relationship. We've had Kevin on here a few times, and you and him both always speak really highly of each other. As I understand, it's amicable. What brought the change in trainer around?
You know, it was good to get a win with Junior Fire, but like I said, again, it wasn't like impressive, and it wasn't. I set a high standard for myself, and I wasn't happy with the way that we won. And I guess I don't want to be going into the future and look back and say, hey, what about if I changed trainers, or what if I did this different, or what if I tried that? I thought it was a great opportunity or great chance to go our separate ways, and we both, support each other. We've achieved a lot together. But I wanted to try something else and something different, and I see a lot of people doing it as well, a lot of other fighters. But if I didn't try, I wouldn't have known, the difference between what I was doing there and what I can do somewhere else.
Really respected trainer in Andy Lee. Really respected as a fighter. He's obviously achieved a lot in his own career. He's now in the corner. You're training with him. You're training with Tyson. It looks like a really, really good setup.
Oh, it's a great setup, and for me to fly all the way from New Zealand to Ireland to train, it's like I've never met Andy before. It's a new environment, new camp, new training schedule, and then flying here to the UK here in Morecambe and training along Tyson Fury. It's I feel in a good position where I'm feeding off these guys who have been in the game for a long time as well.
Dean, I want to bring yourself in here. One question that I have to both of you guys as an outsider. Look, I'm not a boxer. I don't know what it's like when you step between those ropes in the paid ranks. When you're going into such a big fight, and Dereck Chisora is a really big fight, like you said a moment ago, you know what he's going to do. He's going to try and get under your skin beforehand, then he's going to come at you in the ring. Does it play on your mind a little bit that you've got a new guy in the corner there? And like you say, you've just got to know him. Does that play in your mind, or as a fighter, do you adapt and just kind of, well, you're in the ring anyway, regardless of who's in the corner?
I'll let Dean answer first because he's got way more experience.
No, I don't know about that, but I think look, as a fighter, once you go in the ring, it's solely you anyway, first and foremost. Yeah, irrespective of what information comes out, when you're in the corner, they do see different things from the fighter also. So sometimes there's that, but as a fighting man, fight or flight kicks in sometimes when you get caught. Sometimes, any experience you're going to drag on, it will be from what you've experienced being in the ring. The corner is there to top up your info. Like if when you start to fade and your shape starts to go, they're there to top that up and say, listen, your hands are down there. Bring this hand back up. Lean over here a little bit more. Don't lean in too much. Lean back. They're there to top up what you're doing already. Because as an elite fighter, the IQ should be there, and certain adjustments as an elite fighter, you're going to make them naturally because you've trained, you've sparred, you've done everything you're meant to do to be in that position. So the corner's there to just kind of guide you to a degree. So as a new corner, obviously sometimes some people do say it does have an effect. Some say it doesn't. I'm not too sure because obviously, you know, Dill changed to Zav and then Dill lost, and then people were like, oh, he changed trainers. If Mark Tibbs was there, this wouldn't have happened. But to be honest, Dill boxed exceptionally well in that fight, and he made one mistake and he got caught for it. So I wouldn't necessarily say, oh, that's the corner, because Dill's IQ as a boxer is very, very high. You understand? So, you know, he went out there on Saturday and he showed the difference again, and that's the same trainer, and you know what I mean? But in this sport, you do get, you know, nasty comments where people would have blamed the trainer again. They say, well, he didn't have the experience. But as the fighter, I think Jose Parker's garnered a lot of experience. Andy Lee's got a lot of experience. And they're with Tyson Fury, the lineal champ. So there's endless bucket list experience between a lot of them.
He answered it exactly how I had that in my mind, exactly all the words that he said.
Yeah, of course you did, Joe.
I think it's you're right though. It's you have all this experience, the corners there to help you. It's a new camp, and you just got to trust the process. Trust the process and enjoy it, and make the most of it.
What is it like training with Tyson? Do you guys spar? Do you guys just work out conditioning work together? What's that like?
I mean, sometimes we're here using his gym, and I guess we have our own camp where, you know, we spar at a certain time and we do things at a certain time, and if it suits the time that he's training, we'll train together. But we're focusing more on what we have to do to prepare for the fight, and he's got no fight line up yet, so there's nothing locked in for him. So he just, you know, if it suits, then we run together. If it doesn't, then we'll do our own thing. But it's great, like I said, it's great to be around, you know, guys who've been in the sport for a while and who have a lot of experience.
The heavyweight division at the moment, I mean, I know we said it last time, but it's so enthralling. There's just so many different fights you can look at. A lot of people, rightly so, were speaking about Tyson versus AJ, but then there's yourself and Dereck. There's Dillian just doing what he's done against Alexander Povetkin. There's Joe Joyce and Alexander Usyk. Do you, not to mention your old foe, Andy Ruiz and Deontay Wilder, and everything that's happened with that story since we last spoke? Do you keep an eye on the other components in this heavyweight division and see what they do?
As a heavyweight, you keep an eye on everything that's happening in the division, and mostly just the heavyweight division. I know there's a lot of fighters who look at all the other divisions and keep up to date, but as a heavyweight, you always see what's happening around you. Dean, what's the inside word on Dillian? Who's next?
Do you know what? Funny enough, I literally got off the phone to Dereck just now, and Dillian is mine. But obviously not the same time because they kind of argue. But I was literally talking to Dereck. I just told him, yeah, you're coming on. I said he needs to come on next. But but then we was talking. He's training now. He just said he's going to shoot off a train. Yeah. Then, you know, chatting to me, he's all right. He's good. He's just doing his thing. He's happy. I was just laughing because I was saying to him, do you know what he's been saying for the longest time? And I don't know if I said it before. He just said, listen, I know what I need to do. I just need to go in there and smash this guy. And he's saying, I'm so pissed that I lost in the fashion I lost because, you know, I can't believe I made that mistake and got caught and it was a devastating knockout. But that's why he wanted to run it back so quickly, because he was assured in himself and he's mentally stubborn and tough enough that, as you saw, he didn't go in there and it didn't faze him at all. He just went in there, went for the kill again.
I think he went even harder.
There's not many guys, many fighters, period, that can get that kind of knockout and mentally rub that from their existence and not have a thought in their mind saying, oh, I got knocked out badly, you know, it might happen again, or, you know, he just said, listen, I'm going to bust this guy out. And he went and done what he said, the man of his word.
So who's next?
He's talking about, you're so funny. He's talking about, what's his name? Is it Brian? What's the guy? WBA regular?
Trevor Bryan.
Oh, Trevor Bryan.
He's thinking about Trevor Bryan. He wants to be out in the summer. But it's just literally a couple of days later.
He just finished fighting and winning. So
it's cool. Obviously, that Deontay Wilder fight's there potentially later in the year if, you know, depends what happens with Tyson Fury, AJ. Yeah. Because remember, and Deontay Wilder's got a trilogy contract with Fury, so potentially that fight might be next. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but
that can be next. Yeah, that's all in the courts and happening.
All the boxes aren't ticked with the AJ and Fury fight, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Dillian is chuffed, man. He's there. He's happy. He's in a more nicer mood today because sometimes he's a bit of work. I just told him about I got this new podcast. He needs to come on. I was asking him if he had the diamond belt. Yeah, but I think the WBC sorting that out. But I said, yeah, we need to get you on here. So yeah, we're trying. He's cool, man. He's just chilling, taking it in his stride. He's let out all his demons and he's let out all his aggression. So for the next couple of days, he'll be fine. I think maybe by next week, normal business will resume where he's angry, Mr. Nasty, and sending abuse. Yeah.
I tell you what, if he does come on, Joe asking the questions, like you're doing a better job of it than I did, mate.
No, I'm just interested because he just finished having a fight, and I know he likes to keep busy as well, and he likes to be involved in a big fight. So just wondering who he's got next, like who he's thinking about, and what's what the plans are moving forward.
Let me ask you guys, because again, you will know this infinitely better than I do. This high-profile fight with the Joshua Fury thing, which is going on, and like you say, Dean, it sounds like all the boxes aren't yet ticked. We don't know the date, the location, etc. Is this what usually happens in a fight build-up, and we're just seeing more of it because it's such a big fight, or because this is such a big fight, is all this being dragged out and it's just taking longer? Like Joe, do you, when you're arranging the Dereck Chisora fight, do you have to go through this big long argument about where it is, when it is, or is it just a case of promoter says, Joe, May the 1st, Dereck Chisora, London, do you want it?
Yeah, for us it was easy. It was easier for us to make. I mean, I'll take the Dillian Whyte fight for example. That was like we flew to the UK and made that fight in like 2 or 3 days. That was the Dereck Chisora fight was made fast. Anthony Joshua one dragged out a bit, but was still made quite relatively not too hard. So I think it just depends on just everyone coming to the party. I know Dean will have his own opinion on this.
I think I'm not gonna lie. I think anything to do with Anthony Joshua, the brand he is, and the financial gain that's in the argument, especially as Tyson Fury is an undisputed fight, and both guys. That's a fight that many countries would want to offer the biggest purse possible. So when it's like something like that, it is a bit more tricky and intricate, because they're going to shop it around to the biggest buyer who's got the deepest pockets. You know what I mean? When it's fights like you're saying with, if it's in London, O2 or Wembley and stuff like that, there might be stipulations on. Sometimes people want to know who's coming out first, what corner they're going to be in, what gloves they're going to wear. Like those kind of things. Depends who thinks they're the A side. There's loads of little things that kind of drag things out and that. You know what I mean? So, but normally it's potentially it's like the AJ, because like he's big draw. If it's inside, like the Ruiz stuff, probably that fight probably obviously got switched around. But then when it eventually got made, obviously these guys coming Saudi with big money, they were happy to just spend their big money. Now there's talk of India offering, Saudi offering, Qatar offering. So all these guys got to look at the bag and see what's in the bag and say, in lucky number room, there's 100. Like, oh, 100.
Looking in the envelope.
This one looks nice.
Keep the numbers coming,
Well, Joe, let's talk about your card again, because I don't want to keep you for ages today. But let's just talk about your fight and your card that's coming up. A lot was made about the size of the card. You and Dereck is a really fan-friendly fight. It's what you want to see. But the card as a whole, it looks really impressive. Bivol Richards is on there. Chris Eubank Jr. is coming back against Marcus Morrison. Katie Taylor's on there. Yeah. We're hearing talks of Campbell Hatton, and I think, did I hear Ted Cheeseman as well? Yeah. Going to be on there. It looks like a really impressive night of boxing that you're at the top of the bill.
Listen, it's great. It's always great to be. I think most of it is just Dereck. We've seen him being vocal many times about wanting to be top of the bill, and I think and like what Dean was saying as well. Sometimes this can drag on, make the fights happen when he wants to be the A side and he wants to walk out first. This and that. I was like, I don't really care about all that stuff to make the fight happen. So I'm looking forward to obviously having the fight with Dereck, but the undercard, like you were saying, is a good undercard. I think it's going to be some great fights on that night.
Do you feel pressure? I mean, you said it before we did about your last fight. You weren't that impressed with the performance on yourself. Do you put pressure on yourself that this time you want to impress? Obviously, you're looking for the knockout, but is there more pressure than usual?
You know, when you put pressure on yourself to go looking for a knockout or to put on a great performance, it just doesn't happen. Like, I mean, it doesn't flow good. And so I'm just going to, you know, the way that I'm going to approach this fight is just do everything I can in training, get in the best shape I can be in, and just go out there and have fun. And I guess when you go out there and have fun and let everything flow, you know, if the knockout comes, it'll come. But if you go looking for it, it's like most of the time it just doesn't happen.
I think you've said that before, haven't you, Dean?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, that, you know, it's more of a thing where it's forced. When something's forced, it doesn't work properly. If it just flows and you're calm and patient, you know, and you work behind the jab, everything flows off that. When you start looking for them big almighty shots, only thing's gonna happen to you, you're gonna run out of steam, you're gonna make your fight difficult, and it just unravels a little bit, you know what I mean? But
even at this you know, at this age, and all the experience I've had, it's still a lot to learn. You know, I just had that fight, and I've, you know, like I said, I went out there trying to look for a big shot and didn't take my time, and I'm still learning as a fighter. So there's still a lot to learn and a lot to work on, and that's the exciting part.
What did you make of Dereck's last performance?
I thought he gave a good account of himself. You know, Usyk was in a bit of trouble in the beginning, and then I guess throughout the fight, he just, you know, his boxing skill was able to help him out, and he was able to box him a lot better mid rounds and later rounds.
Yeah, what did you think, Dean? I think we spoke about it.
You know what? I think Dereck done a lot better than people gave him credit for. I think the fight was a lot closer than the scorecard suggested. Yeah, Dereck put a lot of pressure on. And I think, you know, I think how you can tell is you've never seen Usyk's face as busted up as it was for the fight. That was the battle scars of a man that was in a hard fight.
Hard fight.
And in the stands, the heavyweight professional ranks is something totally different. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not amateur. It's business with guys sitting down on their punches really hard and trying to take your head off, all that kind of jazz. I mean, it was a really good fight, and I think Dereck done the right thing. He got caught in the middle. I think like the 7th with a decent shot where he kind of, but that's Dereck. He gets staggered, and he just
comes back. Yeah,
he keeps, like I said, he's a little bit of a monster. I was in that camp, that whole camp there. I coach and manage Ify Porter, who is one of his main sparring partners all the time. So we know what's going on. And then he looked really good and strong. You know what I mean? That fight. So I did expect him. They pushed him and pushed him and pushed him. And his tank was very good, to be honest, because he kept that pace up all the way to the end. So,
at that age, I mean, his tank is pretty
mad. It's absolutely
mad. He just keeps coming forward and keeps throwing punches and just keeps pressuring. It's like people usually get tired.
Just finally then, Joe, last one from me. We saw some nice scenes at the end of his last fight. I think, did he bring like a Five Guys or something here? Some form of takeaway entered the changing room. After all is said and done on May the 1st, and you two have slugged it out, regardless of result, are you going to be bringing in some form of takeaway, nice, just share that moment with each other if you like?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, at the end of the day, it's two guys going in there doing the best. Whoever wins is the best man on the day. That's it. Yeah. And we can move from that. Whatever the result is, you have to accept it. That's what's going to happen. And you just, you become, we're already good friends now. But after the fight, during the fight, it's all going to be, he wants to smash me, I want to smash him. That's how it is. After the fight,
he's not going to be ringing you at 2 o'clock in the morning again.
I've put it on airplane mode. No, but after the fight, I'd love to catch up with him and have a chat and, I don't know, have a burger, whatever food they have there.
Yeah, smashing. Well, listen, mate, I know you're a busy man. Former world heavyweight champion, Joe Parker, thank you very much for joining us, mate.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hey,
Thanks, Dean.
Joseph Parker, I'll be hollering you when you're here. I want to come to that fight. Don't leave me outside. I'll be talking to Eddie, you, or anyone I can.
Text me. I mean, if we can get you guys to the fight, text me.
Yeah. I'm sure I've got a loop anyway.
But listen, you're already talking to Dereck anyways. Dereck's already going to have you in the corner. And,
I'm sure. I want to see a hell of a card, like you're saying, so it's interesting.
All right.
Amazing.
Good to see you, brother.
That makes great content, by the way. If he's filming you, trying to interview you during the fight, how's it going, Joe?
Hey, good to see you guys.
Cheers, mate. See you later.
Have a good
Thanks,
day.
man. Yeah, take care, Joe.